Hello. Hi.
Welcome, parents. I almost said hello, friends, but I stopped.
See, we're just going to wait a couple minutes and let everybody join us, and then we'll get started. Awesome. And make sure Gray is mom or dad with you for this meeting.
Yes.
Awesome. Thank you. Wonderful. Welcome. Awesome. Hello, everybody. Welcome.
It's good to see everybody's faces instead of just names on an email.
I see parts of faces or parts of heads, and then when I saw Olivia's mom today, and I saw her whole face, and I'm like, wait, I do know you, but you can't tell when they're just like part of their face.
Yes. Or we probably know your voices.
Yeah, we do know that.
Do y'all want to wait until like maybe 5:05 to get started?
You know what you could do if you want to? If you've got questions that I was going to say, I don't know if you want to type them in the chat as we're going along, or if there's one that you know right off the top that you would like an answer to, maybe we can like preemptively figure that out and be prepared to answer. So if you have any questions, feel free to put them in the chat. It's a private chat. So that means it's just between you and the hosts.
Which is all three of us.
Which is all three of us in the corner. Misty, Musa, or Ashley, and Lori and Holly. So we are your first grade teach team.
Yeah, I don't know where all the faces show up. I think it's different for everybody.
Yeah. I know. I told my class it's like playing Where's Waldo, because then when you spotlight someone too, they all scramble. And then where they were on the screen is not where they were. And like, wait a minute, thought you had your hand up, but then you moved.
I do a lot of scanning. I probably look like a crazy person.
Okay.
All right, we're just gonna wait another couple minutes or so. Hi, Riley. I see you in the background there. Let's see.
Hi, Pedro. How you doing, bud? You good?
Oh.
Hi, Pedro. It's good to see you again.
Hi, Gray.
Hi, Rory. See you back there hiding behind mom. All righty. Do you want to get started?
Yeah, we can. It's recorded, so they can, if they miss some, they can go back.
Exactly. Okay, so we actually wanted to thank you all for joining us tonight and making time for us, and more importantly, for all of the support and patience that you've had with us over the last 3 weeks, because it has taken a lot of patience with technology and with just the assignments that we've given you, and just supporting your kids at home and not always knowing what was expected, but trying to make everything work. And we just really, obviously we could not have done this without you. So we are so appreciative and so grateful of just all of your kind words and all of your support. And I'm personally grateful for the ice cream that I've gotten. So we just are very thankful for you and for your children. So we're excited for the year to start. I mean, we have started, but we feel like we're going to get a little bit of a restart, and things might look a little bit different next week, but not a whole lot. So we're excited about that. Anyway, okay, so I am going to go ahead and share my screen. See what happens. I know, you never know, right? Okay, I'll put this in presentation mode. Okay, there we go. All right, so just hello and welcome. So this year, probably more than any other year, first grade, we are going to be working as a team. Typically, we do work as a team to plan lessons and just come up with instructional ideas for your kiddos. But this year, we've really had to divide and conquer just because of the nature of what we're working with. And so you've probably seen my face or heard my voice on some of the writing or reading videos. And then you've heard Ashley doing math. And you haven't heard probably as much from Holly, but she's been making, I know she's made videos, the how-to videos on how to do things, because at the beginning of this year, for now, I've taken over teaching reading and writing, and Ashley has done math, and then Holly has done science and social studies, and we will be rotating as the year goes on and taking turns, but that's just how we started. So that's why you might associate us with a certain subject, but we're definitely working together just to give your children the best instruction that we can. Let's see, try to get my slides going. Okay, so just a little bit about me. My families have already seen this, but the 1B and 1C family, since I'm going to be working with your kiddos too, whether they're face-to-face or remote too, we're all sharing a little bit about ourselves. So I've been teaching first grade for 8 years, and teaching it at Pinkerton, and I've been a teacher for all 8 years. So anyway, I have to just give a shout out to Ashley Capelli and her son Chance, because when Chance was born, that's when I got the opportunity to come and be a long-term sub in first grade. And I never thought I wanted to teach first grade. I fell in love with it, and it was the biggest blessing. So I've been here ever since Chance was born. All of my kiddos attended Pinkerton, and they've gone through Coppell ISD. So I've been here as a parent on the other side, as a volunteer, and now as a teacher. So, and I think the most important thing is that every kid is different. Every child is different. All 3 of my grown kids are different. They all had different needs. I had one that was GT. I had one and he was also ADD. And then my other 2 children have anxiety issues. And so I've dealt with and seen, just as a mom, all of that from a mom's side. So I know that success for children looks different because everybody's in a different spot. And so we take them where they are and we grow them and nurture them. So especially now, coming off of the spring where you are basically helping to teach, we are going to be doing our best to just take them wherever they're at and get them where they need to be. So with your help, so anyway, and we appreciate that.
Hi, I am Mrs. Giamuso, or Ashley, and a little bit about me is I graduated from the University of North Texas in 2016. I taught 3rd grade at Pinkerton for my first 3 years, and then last year I bumped up to 4th grade and got to teach some of my same learners again, which was really fun. And then I got the opportunity to move down to 1st grade, which I've always known has been a passion of mine. Every year I've said I love teaching, but I really want to go younger. So I got the opportunity to move down to the land of littles, and I jumped on it, of course. So this is my first year in 1st grade, but my 5th year teaching at Pinkerton. A little bit about my philosophy is I don't have any kids right now, so the learners at the school are my kids. I enjoy seeing them every day, and I treat them like they are my own. I think about them all the time. I have very high expectations for our achievement and our behavior, but they also must know that they're really safe with me and know that I care about them in order for them to feel safe enough to learn in my classroom. A big thing of mine is that we learn by making mistakes. So anytime we make mistakes, we make a big deal about, we don't make fun of one another. We make mistakes, we learn from mistakes, and we move on. That's kind of like my big philosophy. We take care of one another, and we're a family in our classroom. And a big thing this year, especially with the nature of what we're doing, is a partnership with you guys. Together, we're a team. We can't do it without you guys. So that's kind of a big overarching theme of this year.
Oh, sorry.
That's okay.
I should have just hit space. I'm so sorry. Let me put it back in presentation mode. Here we go. There we go.
All right, and I'm Holly Ortega. I'm the 1C teacher, and I graduated from Concordia University, Texas in Austin in 2016. So this is my 4th year teaching. I got to teach all 4 years at Pinkerton, thankfully, and I even did my student teaching at Wilson in Coppell also. I taught 2nd grade my first year at Pinkerton with our awesome 2nd grade team. And then I got to move to first grade. So this is my 3rd year teaching first grade, and I love it. It's just the perfect age. They're so funny. They're so willing and ready to learn and easy to engage. So I love it. My philosophy is, the biggest thing for me is I'm huge on relationships with the students. I don't think you can teach a student if you don't have a relationship with them, and carrying off of that also with your family, because we're partners in this, we're all a team. We're working to do what we can to get the kids where we need them to be and do what's best for them. So also our classroom is a family. That's just really what I teach them from day one, is we take care of each other, just kind of like what Ashley said, and we're a family. And I call it that. I said, this is your school family, and we treat each other like that, and we love each other like that. So, and my philosophy, and there's a lot that carries off of this, but our kids have really big ideas, and they are their own little people, and they have their own ideas. And I just treat them like they're their own little adult. They're their own person, and what they think matters, and they can change the world with what they think. And I just want them to know that and know how important they are. Yep.
Okay, let's see now.
I think I'm
There we go.
All right, and this is our schedule. It might look a little bit different from what you guys got from the beginning. It's basically the same, but we changed a couple things because starting on Tuesday, we're going to have face-to-face learners in our class as well as the virtual learners. So, I mean, that's going to be a growth period for all of us, kind of trying to figure out a balance between that and how to help all those kids at the same time. But we've got a plan, and we think it'll work out good. So our schedule's changed a little bit. 7:30 to 7:40, that's kind of when the kids are going to be coming into the classroom, and we want them at home to also be starting to get ready. And we are adding our daily journal in at the very beginning of the day. So we're going to walk you guys through what that will look like. But now from 7:30 to 7:40-ish, they'll be working on their daily journal. And then 7:40 to 7:50 is announcements, which that's been on our schedules. We haven't quite heard exactly what that's going to look like, but we will be for sure letting you know. And then our first Zoom is still going to be at 7:50. That's not going to change. 7:50 to 8:10 is our morning meeting. We're just kind of checking in with the kids and reading a book or something like that. But then at 8:10, we've also been doing this already. We're going to continue that Zoom and do our phonics lesson, which will end at 8:30. So then at 8:30 to 9:10 is reading workshop time. And we've been talking about this, but we'll give you more information later. We are trying to figure out a plan to meet with small groups for reading coming up. But we will definitely let you know how that would work on Zoom and with the kids in person when we figure it out. So then after reading workshop, we'll stop and have a break and a snack. 9:10 to 9:20, maybe a brain break, let them wiggle. And then 9:20 to 10 is our writing workshop Zoom. That's not going to change either as of right now. So we're going to try to Zoom with the kids. The kids in the classroom will be a part of all of these Zooms, but we're kind of trying to figure out what that will look like too. And then 10 to 10:30, social studies. Recess, 10:30 to 11. 11 to 11:30 is lunch. 11:30 to 12:20 is science. 12:20 to 1:05 is specials. This sanitized break time, that's obviously for the kids at school. We'll kind of take a break to clean ourselves up, clean the classroom up, make sure everything's safe. And then 1:15 to 2:45, we are adding a math workshop Zoom. And we will also kind of let you know how that's going to look. But we are going to be starting that Tuesday, right, Ashley?
Mm-hmm.
Yes. So next week, we're starting our math workshop on Zoom. And then we're still going to do that 2:45 to 3, very end of the day, reflection time or read aloud time, where the kids can kind of just, like the kids at school maybe have already packed up and they're kind of winding down, and the kids at home can join in and hear the story and reflect with us.
And then I'm going to kind of piggyback off of some of that. So with the Zooms, I know looking on this schedule, it looks like we're going to be doing a lot of Zooming. Just because it says Zoom in that time slot doesn't mean they're going to be on Zoom the entire time. So like our math workshop, it's going to be a quick 10, 15-minute mini lesson, just like we would do in the classroom with our normal kiddos. And then we would say, okay, we're going to send you off to go do your independent work. And that is when on Zoom, we kind of plan to keep it open for maybe 5 or 10 minutes while they get started. And if they have trouble or have a question, they could holler at us and we can come over and assist them, just like if they were sitting at their desk and they raised their hand and had an issue. And then after the 5 to 10 minutes, we'd say, okay, friends that are at home, I'm going to go ahead and shut down the Zoom. And then we would continue facilitating the independent work in the classroom. So just because it says, 1:15 to 2:45 for math, it doesn't mean they're going to be sitting on their Zoom the entire time. So we don't want you guys to think that they're going to get all zoomed out, because we definitely know there is a thing called Zoom fatigue, and we don't want them to feel that. So it's going to be more of our quick mini lessons and then off to do some independent work. So. Alrighty, so at Pinkerton, we are an IB school, and let me downsize this real quick. Our guiding purpose is we empower learners to become inquirers and compassionate individuals who make innovative contributions to our global society. We were officially authorized in 2016. Our reauthorization visit is this October, in October of 2020. It's at the end, I believe, like the 29th and the 30th. So we will be undergoing our reauthorization. It was supposed to happen in March, 2 weeks after spring break, but we obviously know that didn't happen. And so they've rescheduled it. We focus on inquiry-based learning at Pinkerton. We have 6 transdisciplinary themes, and this year it's going to look a little bit different. We're required to follow the district's scope and sequence, and that can be found in every course under, under course info. And so our units this year are going to look a little bit different than they've looked in the past, because normally we would take the district scope and sequence and we have our layout of our units and we kind of plug in all of the concepts that fit with our units, and we don't have that flexibility this year due to the nature of our distance learning, and they want everybody in the district to be on the same things at the same time. So we are going to focus more on the learner and the profile attributes that go along with the learner profile. And then we're going to be focusing a lot on the approaches to learning skills, which are our listening, our research, social skills, thinking skills, self-management skills, and our communication skills. So our units are going to be really focused on those things. And we are going to try to teach transdisciplinary as we can, and make those connections throughout our units, just like we normally would, but it is going to be just a little bit different this year. Laura, you can change to the next slide. And on that blue slide, we are going to share this slideshow with you guys.
Sorry.
Okay. There are some links on that blue slide that will give you a little bit more information if you want to click into that.
I'm so sorry. What I was doing actually, I was trying to, let me pull this back up. I was trying to look at the chat because when the slideshow is up, full screen and presentation mode, it covers up the chat, and I couldn't see if there were any questions. So I did see a question that we will answer following this. We'll put it in the Q&A document that we're going to send out.
So I'll reiterate that Q&A document. I don't know if I think we said it at the beginning, but I know some people have joined us since then. For the questions, because I think if we took everyone's questions, we'd be on here maybe all night. And we are going to copy and paste all of y'all's questions from our chat into a document. And then tomorrow we're going to work on answering those questions for you guys. And then we will shoot you out an email tomorrow that has everyone's questions answered to the best of our ability for you guys. And that also gives us an opportunity. If we don't know the answer to a question, we can go find that answer and send it out. So make sure if you have questions, type them into the chat, and we're not ignoring them. So don't want you guys to think we're ignoring them. We're just going to save them for a write-up. But back to IB. Sorry, that was a little bit of a popcorn moment.
Go back to IB. Do you want to continue on this slide or go back to one?
Right here is perfect.
Okay.
So this is an example of what a unit in first grade would look like. This is our Who We Are unit. And we are kind of still teaching this unit right now because we are working on perspective, beliefs, and values and how they influence our community. And we're still going to have a central idea to all of our units. We're still going to be using our flexible learning spaces when we are allowed to and when we're told it's safe. So right now, we've got some cute signs in the hallway on our flexible learning that says, don't sit here, it's not open at the moment. But we will open those back up when it's safe. We are going to utilize our Pinkerton patch in our outdoor learning spaces to get kids outdoors while they're face-to-face and be able to kind of spread out and distance outdoors. We're still going to have Spanish once a week. Each of us have a different Spanish time, and learners are going to be able to connect with Senor Olguin through Spanish once a week.
Okay, so a little bit about reading, writing, and phonics, which if you have been with your child during these workshops, then you probably are a little bit familiar with this, hopefully. And also, I believe in kindergarten they did it, but maybe it might have looked a little bit different than it does in first grade. But the way that we teach reading, writing, and phonics, and this is across the district for elementary school, is that we have adopted a curriculum that really focuses on teaching strategies. Okay, so we're not giving them rules for how to learn reading, learn writing, and learn phonics, but more we're teaching overarching strategies that they can use no matter what level they're at in their reading, in their writing, in their phonics. So that's really important because it really helps because we can meet the kids where they are, providing them the strategies regardless of where they're at in ability. The focus is on quite a bit of small group work and conferring. So we really have not done that yet to this point. Once we finish the assessments, which we've got a slide and we'll get to that, but we've been doing the reading assessments. We will use that data that we collect from that and we will be putting together small groups. At the beginning of the year for writing, we really don't pull small groups a whole lot for writing, but we definitely will be for reading. And those groups ebb and flow. The reading groups ebb and flow as well as the writing groups. And we tend to do quite a bit of conferring where we will meet, maybe not with a small group. I'm pointing to my table. I know y'all can't see that, but I sit at a table and we sit at tables and pull small groups typically at our tables. But we also do quite a bit of conferring where we're just working with students one-on-one or maybe with just a couple of students on different strategies so that we can really personalize the instruction. So it's really flexible in that way. So that's a big bonus. It's got a lot of built-in choice with regard to what they're able to read, the type of reading that they do. Writing, they have choice as far as ideas that they can come up with, but we definitely have different units that we cover. For example, the first unit that we're working on, is it's about creating and writing personal narratives, and we call those small moment stories. But we've got 5 to 6 different, I believe it's 6 different writing units that we cover, and each one is a different genre of writing for first grade. But still, everything. It's similar in that we're using strategies, we're pulling small groups, we're conferring, they have choice in their ideas, and we are using assessment-based learning. So at the beginning of, especially I'm thinking of writing, we do give an assessment, a pre-assessment, and then we know how to best meet the kiddos' needs. For reading, we do the standard district assessments, which we'll talk about in a little bit. For phonics is different because I don't know if any of you have older kids, but we've gone through lots of iterations for how, especially in first grade, we presented and taught phonics. And we used to do something called Words Their Way, which was very rule-based. And you might be familiar with seeing spelling lists coming home. We don't do that anymore. So this curriculum really focuses on phonics and giving the kiddos tools for problem solving words. So it looks different. It definitely looks different. We do a lot of hands-on, we do a lot of whiteboard work. So it definitely does look different than what you're used to, even back just a few years ago. So anyway, and one last thing I want to say on this and then I'll move on. You probably have heard me talk about coaching, and I know I have one little friend in my class and she said, can my parents help or my teacher help? And then she'll always stop and she'll say, can they coach? So I use the analogy of a coach. So we work as coaches and we're just giving the kiddos the tools, and then they can take that and grow with it, practice it on their own, and we tweak with them and then they take off. So. Okay, sorry, I'm passionate about reading, writing, and phonics, so I apologize. This one, I'll make it a little bit shorter. So this is an example of a typical day in Reader's Workshop. Writer's Workshop looks the same. We will do typically a 10 to 15 minute mini lesson, and usually it's shorter than that. If it's longer than 10 minutes, it's not mini. Then we will send the kids off and they will have time to either read or write independently. And during that time, regardless of if it's reading workshop or writing workshop, we will be doing independent work with them. In the past, we did partner work. Not going to be doing so much of that this year, but that's also definitely a time when we're pulling small groups, doing guided reading, pulling strategy groups, and working one-on-one. And then at the end, we usually do a wrap-up and a share. So you can see the majority of the time, it's not us talking, it's a mini lesson, and that's where the Zoom time is going to be, with a little bit of us just making sure that they understand the concepts before we move on to independent work. Holly, you're up.
Thank you. I was on mute.
That's okay. That's okay.
It's the quote of the
I
year.
can't see you.
All right. So for math, this is really what our Zooms are going to start being about next week. We start with a number talk, and number talks focus a lot on numeracy. That's a big concept in first grade, and building that's just really important for any other concept that they learn in math. So we focus a lot on numeracy and with those number talks. We also do a lot of hands-on math with manipulatives and visual aids in first grade, and in any grade really, because it just helps them really understand those concepts and make them more concrete. And especially as we start getting into a little bit more complicated concepts, Zooming with them and using this hands-on stuff as much as we can will be really helpful. And that's why we sent home that math toolkit for you guys as well. In our math workshop, it could look like stations. We have some technology practice like Dreambox, apps like that, and a lot of small groups to help kind of reteach things and work with kids and just what their specific need is. And again, Dreambox. We typically do, like last year we did sort of a warm up, that's the word, warm up with Dreambox for a few minutes, but I'm not sure if that's how we're going to do it this year, but they usually will spend at least 10-15 minutes on Dreambox a day. It's just a great practice for them, and they usually enjoy it. It's a pretty cool app. I think they make it pretty fun for them to learn and practice these math concepts. And we also sometimes will send home optional homework sheets, and this is usually just if your child's really struggling with a certain thing that we're learning in class, we may contact you about that and just send home some extra practice. But if they bring it back finished, we usually reward them too. So not that much homework in first grade.
Okay, we've already spoken a little bit about this. Spanish still is going to meet once a week for 30 minutes, and these are the class times. And I talked with Miss Holguin, and I'll show you the next slide. Just has a lot of information on it, but I wanted to clarify. So the first bullet on here says learners will meet once a week for 30 minutes via Zoom or pre-recorded lesson. And I was getting clarification from her on what that meant. She's going to be doing something very similar to what we are doing for our lessons in first grade, in that she is going to be basically doing a live stream Zoom. So she'll be Zooming while she's teaching the face-to-face kids. And then she's going to be doing the similar thing. She'll be just making sure everybody's good to go. And then she will be sending the remote learners off to practice whatever skills she has for them. And then the face-to-face learners will just obviously be with her working with them. But anyway, so it's not 30 minutes on a Zoom. I clarified that as well. The focus is on listening and speaking. When there is always going to be a pre-recorded lesson if she is not available, because she's got a dual, she wears two hats. She's responsible for our ESL programs, English as a second language. So she often has to do testing and working with those kiddos. So she wears two hats. So that doesn't happen very often, but when it does, we've got it covered. Technology.
Lori, do you want to jump back and show them the different times real quick so they could note that if they want to?
Of course. I guess I was just assuming everyone wants a copy of the slideshow, but you may not want to, so sorry.
So those are our Spanish times. 1A, Miss Ireland's class, Wednesday, 9 to 9:30. 1B, Mrs. Giamuso's class will be Monday, 9 to 9:30. And then 1C, Mrs. Ortega, Wednesday, 8:30 to 9.
Oh, and Spanish does start next week. And I think we said that, but I was just going to double say that. So it begins next week.
Yes. And so my friends, 1B, since we're Monday and it's a holiday, there will be a pre-recorded lesson is what she had told me. So I will find out more information and push that out to you guys since we're not in school on Monday. But technology, this one's super important this year with the nature of COVID and distance learning. But for our friends that are coming face-to-face that starts transition to in the classroom, your iPads will go to and from school each day. So it's super duper important that at night you'll get in a habit of charging them and sending them to school in their backpacks. Please, if you're able to, send your learner with headphones. That's going to make everything in the classroom a lot easier. Last year we had class headphones, but we're not going to be able to share things like that this year. So we really, really need you to bring some headphones if possible. Like I said, charge your iPad every night. Schoology is going to be utilized for in-person and distance learning to ensure equity. That doesn't mean that just because they're in person that they're going to be sitting on their iPad or on Schoology the whole time. They're going to be utilizing it to turn things in like they're doing now. So if we have an activity that they're doing, they're still going to take a picture and turn it in so we can make sure we have all of the things to ensure equity in our curriculum. Our in-person face-to-face learners will be given a gallon-sized bag to put in their backpack, and that could fit their charger and their headphones so they can transport those to and from school and kind of help keep those organized. The last little bullet, ClassLink. This is a gym that we have been using, and I know some of you have been utilizing it and some of you may be a little confused about it, but ClassLink is an app on our iPads and it's wonderful. It's a blue icon with a white cloud, and when you click on it, it brings you into the CISD domain, and all they have to do is log in with their 3 letters and 4 numbers and then their normal password that they've been using to get into Schoology and iStation. And once they're in there, there are apps in there. Like I think Schoology is in there for sure. Dreambox is in there. Let me pull it up in front of me and I can actually read off the apps for use of Schoology, Dreambox. Let's see. Trying to get all the ones that we go over. Google Drive is in there. Bulb is in there. Mac and Via, BrainPop Junior, Discovery Education. And once they're logged in the first time on ClassLink, all they have to do is press the button and it auto logs them into those other apps. So if I go into ClassLink and I click on Dreambox, I made a little video about it. It's on my Bulb account, and it will take them directly into Dreambox. They don't need a class code or anything like that like we needed last year. It really just streamlines all of those apps for us and makes it a lot easier to for your kids to go in and out of different apps. Bulb is another important one because I know for me, I'm putting a lot of videos and stuff in Bulb, and if you're not logged in, it can make it difficult to see them. So if you go in through ClassLink, that makes it a lot easier. So if you're not using ClassLink, please try to start getting your learner to access Schoology through ClassLink. It also takes, when you access Schoology through ClassLink, it's the web version, and we have made a lot of our Schoology links visually appealing to our first graders with buttons and things that they can click on and a little bit easier for them to read and navigate through the web version. And so that is all through ClassLink. So ClassLink is amazing. Start using it if you're not using it. If you need help using it, if you're confused or you can't get logged in, please reach out to your child's teacher and we would be happy to walk you through it. It's definitely makes things a lot easier on you guys because you don't have to keep up with all these logins. So I just went on my ClassLink soapbox, but it's wonderful and it's going to make things easier for you guys as well. So definitely use ClassLink.
That was a great commercial. I just want to add something before we leave this slide. So I know you know this, parents, but I know at my house, I've got chargers everywhere. But the chargers for your kiddos' iPads were sent home. So we have charging carts here in the classroom, but there are no charging cords and boxes to go with those in the charging carts. And I know I don't have any extras. So just a little heads up, if you misplace the chargers, which I know at my house, like chargers go missing all the time. I don't know how that happens, but just a heads up, try to find that charger because we really need it. I feel pretty confident if your child is charging their iPad every night, it will definitely make it through a whole day. I mean, they're not going to be using it to that extent that it wouldn't last through the day, but just kind of a heads up on that. Okay, homework. We've talked about this a little bit. We will not be assigning any homework in first grade other than just asking you to please be reading with your child. If your child, this is just a kind of a side note that's not on here. If your child is struggling with some of the first grade sight words, which hopefully you've seen those possibly in your child's reading folder, there are 89 sight words and we call them sight words or snap words because I need to be able to say them in a snap. But there are 89 that they need to be able to read by the end of first grade. So we've started working on, well, we will be starting to work on those. We have assessed on the first 13, but we haven't actually done any direct teaching with that. So anyway, sight word practice is always good. So just wanted to go ahead and throw that out there. We also, and I don't know if Ashley mentioned, not Ashley, but I don't know if Holly mentioned this when she spoke about math, but we had a curriculum that we used to use called Go Math. And it's got some really good workbooks that came with it. And the district did order us a set of workbooks for each learner. So once those workbooks come in, I know you probably think pencil and paper is not that effective, but there are some skills that are, best practiced that way. So in addition to the hands-on work that they're going to be doing. So we will be sending those home or the sheets home from them for sure once we get those.
All right, GT, this is our Gifted and Talented program. This is also going to look a little bit different this year, the screening process. But if your learner is already identified GT, we're obviously going to be meeting their needs, your child's teacher, and along with Miss Ward, our GT specialist. She's awesome. She's already started creating some extension things for us, and they're really helpful. So, but on April 14th, 2020, so back when this all started, TEA ordered all GT assessment to be suspended for the spring semester. So if your child or someone was being assessed, they kind of stopped that and will be picked up again this year. CISD is currently crafting the GT assessment and ID plan for this year. That information will be publicized as soon as it is available. So again, if you have questions about this, information is coming, but it's not quite finalized yet. But the CISD Department of Advanced Academics will ensure equity and access to this plan for everyone who is identified as GT. And we are waiting to hear a little bit more from Ms. Ward on what the screening process will be will look like this year. But we are already kind of watching, we're always watching and kind of have it on our radar to see which kids may end up being GT or not, and we definitely let her know. And we can even service kids who aren't in GT still with extension projects and things like that as well. So if you have questions about this, information's coming, but you can go ahead and ask us too, and we'll see if we can get the answers. And this, I'm not going to read through it all, but it's here for your reference if you want. It was really helpful to me even when I was learning about the difference between a bright child and a GT, a gifted learner. There really is a lot of differences. So a child can be a high achiever. They can be getting things really fast and understanding them, and really just be a high reader, high writer, all of those things, but they might not necessarily be technically a gifted learner. Gifted learners, it looks a little bit different. They're more creative of thinkers. And anyway, so you can take a look at this chart if you want. It's pretty helpful to help you understand that concept.
Okay, on to assessments. We do a variety of different assessments. I mean, and you probably know this from kindergarten, so I'm not going to really go through all of this. But the important thing that we need you to realize is that we don't look at any one assessment and make any type of judgment or decisions on that just based on one assessment. So we take a look at everything. And I'm saying that because I know sometimes there are issues, especially with iStation. and hopefully not with MAP, but MAP is a type of progressive testing that we also do, and it's a computer based that will be coming out, and we'll be giving that probably in the next 2 to 3 weeks. But we don't look at if something happens during an iStation assessment, for example, we don't take that just in isolation. So we are looking at all the data that we get from all the different assessments. So if there are different data points that look off, or something didn't work quite right, especially if it's computer-based, just please know that you don't worry about it. Just as long as we know that, yeah, something didn't work right, or they ended the test too soon, and usually we can figure that out anyway. But it's a little bit harder, us not being there with your kids while they're taking it. Just know that we're looking at all the data points and putting together a picture of that we're using to guide our instruction. Also, please make sure, and I know all of you have really done a really good job of doing this, but please make sure that if your learner especially continues as a remote learner, that you are not helping them during the assessments at all. I know it's tempting, especially if they're asking you for help. But just let them do the best that they can, because we do want to meet them where they are. And the only way we can do that is if we know where they're at genuinely. So we just ask you, just to say, just do your best, give them encouragement. If they need to take breaks for any reason, of course, do that. But just let them do their own work. And we're just going to use the data to do the best that we can to give them what they need.
Alrighty, report cards. So we are continuing on with the standards-based report cards. Am I unmuted? Okay, good. Making sure I wasn't muted. Just like you saw in kindergarten, we're assessing more on the standards, so it shows the learner more as a whole. You are going to receive a report card every 9 weeks. I know, like in the spring, we did pass-fail. That's not the way we're going to be doing it now in the fall. They will be getting a report card every 9 weeks. There is a video on this, and we're going to send out the link if you guys want to watch it. It's about standards-based report cards. It's about 6 or 7 minutes long. We're not going to show it to you now just for time purposes, but it has some good information about what a standards-based report card is, and it kind of dives into a little bit deeper. We will be having fall conferences this year, but as you know, they voted to change up our schedule a little bit. Since we started later in August, they took away that conference day that we normally have in October, and now it's a normal school day. So fall conferences are going to look a little bit different this year. We don't have a lot of information on that yet, on when it's going to happen. We've been told it's more going to be like a window where we can schedule, so we just have to have a window of when we need to get them done. So we'll have a lot more information coming out about when to have you guys sign up and things like that. But we will still be having them. They'll still be about a 10, 15, 20-minute window where you can chat with your teacher about concerns or questions and things like that. We'll report out on the same thing that we always have. So those will still be happening. Lori, next slide.
I'm looking at, I've got my slides going on another screen on my iPad too, so I'm just checking to see where we're at on time.
Okay, so for arrival at school in the morning, this is obviously for those of you whose children are coming in face to face, but if there's ever a time when we all get to go back, it's still important information for everyone. This has not really changed from previous years. So the kindergarten through 3rd grade learners are encouraged to enter the building through those East Loop doors down by our hallway to minimize the distance that they'd be walking to the classroom within the school. And then obviously 4th and 5th grade through the front doors. When you are going through the East Loop or the front loop, please stay in your car and pull up as far as you can before letting your child out of the car. Children can only exit on the passenger side of the car. And this is something that's different. The doors are going to be unlocking at 7:20 this year. This is earlier than last year. A big thing, we do not want you dropping your kids off earlier than that if at all possible, because I mean, honestly, if you could keep your kid in your car until 7:20 when those doors unlock, it will keep kids from crowding outside of the doors, which did happen last year. And I mean, obviously then it's okay, but now we can't monitor social distancing out there if they are crowding by the doors. So please don't let your kid out of the car even before 7:20 if possible. But when at 7:20, those doors will unlock and they'll be able to come to our classrooms. And everybody has to be in the building by 7:40 when the tardy bell rings, or you will be counted tardy. They will be counted tardy. Okay, and this looks like a lot of words. I'm not going to read them all, I promise. There's an east loop slide and a front loop slide. But the biggest thing here, and this is also the same as last year, east loop, when you are picking your kids up after school, if you live east of Denton Tap, you need to pick your kids up at the east loop. It doesn't matter what grade they're in. All of the kids from that family will go to the east loop if you live east of Denton Tap. And this just really helps with the flow of traffic right there. Let's see. Again, stay in your car, do not get out. Something that a lot of people did, not a lot, a few people did last year, and it wasn't really a big deal, but is they would park in the parking lot and get out of their car and cross to come pick up their child. We are really discouraging that this year, especially because we don't want you up and walking around all the kids that are out there when we're trying to keep them social distance. So please just go through the car loop, and up from there, it's the safest way. And it also, it's safer so that they're not crossing the street right there where the cars are driving through. And it's just a little scary sometimes. So please just go through the east loop. Don't get out of your car. It'll make everybody be the safest and the easiest for everybody. We will help your kids into the car. You don't need to. Oh, this is a big one. Everybody is given one of those little car tags to hang on your mirror in your car where we will write their name and their class. Please always have that up when you are picking your child up, or even if someone else is coming to get your child, have them put just a piece of paper with their name and class in the car, because it can be really difficult for us to know who is getting in what car if we can't see their name, or if we don't recognize the car, or maybe even if it's not that teacher. Since there's so many teachers out there, we need to be able to see their name in the car. So please make sure you have that in your car. And front loop, it's all the same information that I just said, but if you live west of Denton Tap, then your family, all your kids will go to the front loop. So you will pick your kids up in the front loop if you live west of Denton Tap. All right.
Okay, so quick slide about transportation. This is just saying if, say your kid is a normal front loop kiddo and you need to change it and say, let them know if they're YMCA every now and then, and they need to go to the YMCA instead of going to front loop. Or if something in their transportation changes after 12 noon, please call the front office to let Miss Robin know. She will call down to us to let us know. And also an email. So an email and a call afternoon. If it's in the morning time, we all check our emails during our planning time. So if it's before noon, you can just shoot us an email and say, hey, tell so-and-so they need to go here to be picked up by so-and-so. But if it's afternoon, we just ask that you call Miss Robin in the front office to let her know. It makes it easier so we don't miss a communication piece like that.
Okay, I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this slide, just in the essence of time, but in a typical first grade school year, there will be take-home folders that are coming home, and there still will be. We usually call them red folders, but this year we're changing the color to purple. So your child will have a class calendar that's in there. That's basically a behavior calendar as well. All three of us have a clip chart in our classroom, and the kids will be clipping up and down based on expectations and how well they're meeting those. And each one of us has a different kind of classroom currency that we use with different just in-class rewards that we'll have. So those of you that are having your kids stay home or be remote, feel free to implement any type of currency that you want at your household. I've seen some pretty creative ones too. But that's what we're going to be doing here in the classroom as far as motivating the kids, and we just feel that makes it more fun. And I don't know, you know how it is, your parents, so you just need to give that motivation once in a while.
Okay, lunchtime this year It's going to look interesting. I saw the cafeteria the other day. We have all these arrows on the floor. There are certain spots with a big circle dot on the seat where they are allowed to sit. And if there's not a circle dot, they're not allowed to sit there. So everything is social distance in there. The arrows are kind of like there's some one-way ways that they can walk to get their lunch and to come back and to leave to go to the bathroom. So it will be safe in the lunchroom. They obviously can take their mask off while they're eating, but they will need to put it back on immediately when they're finished. Parents are not allowed to come up to school for lunch as of right now. It's just not safe. Hopefully that will change soon. But yes, so we're following the district guidelines for COVID safety guidelines for cleaning, making sure their hands are washed, all of that. I'm pretty sure they're even going to be assigned a seat and they will stay in that seat every day. Yes, okay. And this is another big thing. This is something we would tell you normally, but please make sure that anything you send with your child in their lunchbox, they can open. Normally, we will sometimes help them open it. We always tell them to try and do it themselves, but we are not allowed to help them open anything this year. Just because of safety reasons. So please just kind of maybe have them practice opening stuff at home, or just don't send it if they have a really hard time opening it, or maybe even open it a little bit for them in the morning and stick it in there. And then forgotten lunches, Miss Mickelson said, please don't forget their lunches, basically. Obviously, if it gets forgotten, it gets forgotten. You can drop it off, but really, really try and remember that. And remember to stick those napkins and silverware in there if they need them for their lunch that day.
Oh, just real quickly. I mean, it's always a good idea. I don't know, with my own kids, I would just have a little bit of money in their lunch account, even if they wanted to bring lunch every single day. At least that way, if I wasn't able to come up there or they forgot their lunch, that they could just buy their lunch, and that's not a big deal. So.
Birthdays. So we are going to do our best to celebrate your learner on their birthday. I know we've in 1B, we've had some dance parties. We've already had some birthdays. We're going to try to do some special videos or something to make them feel special on their birthday, because this year, unfortunately, as of now, there are no birthday treats allowed to be dropped off for the learners or for your children to share with their friends in the classroom. So just know we are going to celebrate them. We will sing at the top of our lungs. We will make them feel important, but we're not allowed to have birthday celebrations this year as of now. So sorry about that.
Okay. Recess, the most important one item here is the one in red. So since water fountains will be closed because of COVID safety guidelines, they have to bring a water bottle, which we would ask that anyway. But in this case, I guess we can try to keep a supply of like paper cups with us when we go out to recess in case they don't have a water bottle. But the water fountains will still be available to be used as filling stations. So they could fill up their water bottles when they get empty. And we could also fill paper cups if we need to do that. But I guess the biggest thing is just please send a water bottle if at all possible.
All right, and then this is just teach responsibility to your child by having them remember to bring everything that they need every day. I mean, obviously you give them reminders and stuff, but it's their responsibility to remember the things that they need for school, such as their backpack, their lunch, their folder, snack, water bottle. And if you want to send in an extra set of clothes to leave in their locker just in case of spills or accidents, you can do that. But yes, just big thing, they are responsible for their own stuff.
All right, Spirit Days. So every Friday is Spirit Day still, even though we're remote. And wear your Pinkerton shirt, have your child wear their Pinkerton shirt. They can be purchased through our PTO's web store at pinkertonpto.com. We also have kind of talked about doing some other fun things over Zoom for some Spirit Days, just to get the kids excited. Because like I said, Zoom fatigue is real. So you might see some things where we send home like, hey, tell your kid to wear this on Zoom, and obviously for our face-to-face learners, they can wear that as well. But we are still gonna have our Pinkerton Spirit Days. So please, even at home, if you would like, wear your Pinkerton gear on Fridays.
All right, and volunteers this year, as of right now, parents can't really be up in the buildings, so we aren't going to be asking for volunteers for a whole lot. But if you think like sometime this year, if we're allowed and you're going to want to volunteer for something, go ahead and fill out this background check now, because you do have to fill it out every year. And it can take some time to process. So I would just go ahead and even fill it out now if there's even a chance of us getting to have volunteers this year. And even we heard that even if we have a surprise reader on Zoom or something, that they would have to have a background check too. So go ahead and do that. And there's also a link to the PTO website, parent resources, and Dad's Club here.
Okay. All right. So here is the slide that's got our amazing room parents that have volunteered to support us. The lead room parent is listed at the top. So for 1A, it's Jen Stone. 1B, it's Alyssa Moog. And 1C, it's Eliana, I'm sorry, I'm not going to say this, Tornieri. There, I did it. And then we have other parents that have offered to volunteer as well, which we're super, super grateful for. Along with this, so they will be contacting you and reaching out to you just as they would in a typical school year. You'll be getting an email from the lead room parent. Also, they have requested that you be sure to go into the Pinkerton PTO website and make sure that your directory information is up to date. And I just was kind of playing around with that. If you just go into type Pinkerton PTO in the Google search, on the very first page it comes up and it says you need to confirm your information. And if you just click on that blue button that's right there on the very first screen, it'll take you through and giving you a chance to update your information, because I just had to do it. So anyway, just make sure that your email and your phone number is up to date as well. Okay. We are very, very grateful for all of you spending so much time with us, and we're grateful. Sorry that this went over by a bit. Guess we didn't. 2 minutes short. We could talk for 2 more minutes. I felt like it was going over. I wasn't watching the clock, but we are super grateful for all of you. I'm going to exit and stop the share because I can't see. There, I can see faces. I've been just looking at slides this whole time. So we are super grateful for all of you and for your kids, and we love them already. I know it's so weird. You wouldn't think that you could connect and just, I don't know, feel that love and care for them over Zoom, but I already do. And I could speak for all 3 of us that we just love your kids already, and we're excited to see them, whether it's face to face or remote. So anyway, thank you for sharing them with us.
They keep us going, because it has been a difficult transition. Sitting in a classroom without kids, but seeing their smiling faces every morning at 7:50 definitely keeps us going and reminds us why we're here. So we are so thankful for you guys. Y'all have been doing an amazing job. I can't even wrap my mind around how you guys are managing all of this at home. So we just thank you guys so much. We couldn't do it without you guys. And we're here. If y'all need anything, please reach out.
Yes, and I just want to say thank you for all the encouragement that I've gotten. I needed that so badly, and I would not have been able to do this without the encouragement that my parents have been giving me. So thank you. And these kids are little lights in a quite a dark time. So thank you.
Thank you, guys. And so we'll be sending this Google slideshow out. I know it was fast and furious, so if you're trying to scribble down notes and things, we will be sending the slideshow out for you guys shortly.
Yes.
And answering your questions.
And answering your questions as well. Yes, I'm looking at, there aren't a crazy lot of questions in here, but we will address those and send them out to everyone so that you can see them, because y'all might have the same questions that other parents have. So anyway.
Thank you guys so much. We appreciate you.
Thank you.
You know what happens now, we unmute and we all say bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you all for your
Bye.
time.
Thank you, ladies.
Thank
Bye.
you.
Thank Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Bye. Thank you.
Bye.
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 Good job, teachers.
Hi, Audrey.
See, it can even happen with grown-ups. You say, y'all just say,
Thank you so much.
Bye.
Bye.
You guys.
ended.
I'll say, Lori, if you want to end the recording and then